And hello, everybody out there, Omega Strikers fans, and welcome to Week 1, Season 1 of the North American Strikers Academy series. My name is Dividing, and I am joined on the mic today by the lovely Appabug. Appabug, welcome to the mic. I'm really excited to have you here. I mean, I can barely control myself right now because this is literally the start of this Academy series, this Tier 2-esque scene forming for Omega Strikers. It's kind of a landmark moment.
Yep, and it might be tier two, but I know a lot of the teams in here are very strong contenders. They definitely excited us all with their performances in liftoff and launchpad. Weren't quite able to qualify for NASL, but don't count them out, and I'm sure they'll be
Mhm.
good contenders for the next season.
Yeah, I mean, all these teams have been playing around in the lands and the prime times of the world right now, and they have gone toe to toe with those North American Strikers League players and teams in the past. So definitely don't count them out. And being down here in the Academy series definitely means that everyone here probably has a bit of a chip on their shoulder as well. Everyone here really wants to prove themselves. Appabug, we have 5 fantastic matches lined up for you all tonight, and we're going to be starting off with Quest Esports versus the Bozo Bunch. Now, why don't we start over with Quest Esports here? Probably the name that people probably recognize a little bit more on this channel. They've competed in prime times in the past. Currently coming in with a roster of HamsterQuest, Switch, and Sloopin. So tell me a little bit about this squad and what we can expect from them.
Yeah, this squad is definitely full of veterans. A little bit of a newer face in Sloopin, but they have competed with Sloopin in the past. Uh, and I hope to see their continued success here today. But they definitely have the experience under their belt as they look to take this win today.
Yeah, absolutely. A team that has is coming off of some pretty respectable finishes. They came in 4th place in the core mechanics LAN that happened last week, and the prime time, I believe they came in 5th. So this team has been around for a while, and they have consistently gotten respectable results. A team that has also been around but hasn't been quite as visible, might be some of your first time seeing this team, is the Bozo Bunch, coming in with the team of FemmeBison, Muncher, and Dropleto. It's a team that might be getting introduced to this audience for the first time, or at least the first time in a long time. Tell me about this team as well. You were telling me before that this team should be a pretty strong contender.
Yep, they might be up and coming, but they have a pretty strong roster. They've made some decent performances in previous tournaments. And I'm definitely, if I were to like rate the teams today, they'd be definitely a dark horse contender for this NASA league. I
All
think
right.
there is going to be a good match on our hands today.
Yeah, this should be a very, very good one. We should be getting ready to go into game pretty soon. As yes, we are just gonna go straight on into it. Now we have we're going into Amy's app, and we have a mirror matchup, except for Switch going on to the Juliet, and we have a Drakkar on the other side. So what do you think is the thinking behind this comp difference?
I know Switch is we're kill right
Ooh.
off the bat, but Switch is definitely known for Juliet and Zentaro. So, oh my
Oh my
goodness!
gosh. Oh, wow. Okay, I was thinking we'd have a little bit of a second before we really got into it, but Dropleto goes, I'm just going to go ahead and get a 2K right now. It's all up to Switch, who does defend the goal barrier pretty well for the moment, but it does end up going down. However, while this happened, you have the core flip available, and you're just going to walk it in by yourself. What a nice defense to offense showing from Switch, pretty much soloing that goal.
Yep. And honestly, we saw the hooks right off coming off the back for the kill, and then also the dash punch. Just shows how powerful these characters are on this map. Juliet and Rasmus have just so much control with this application hole, I guess, in the middle, and are able to utilize it to their advantage for these kills.
Yeah, absolutely. as we go into number 2, we do have a lot of offense being outputted from Switch, trading that pressure for a lot of that stagger. Gets taken down to pretty low pretty early, but for the moment is going to be left on. Core flip used by Dropleto, but ends up bouncing all the way back to the other side. I don't think FemmeBison was prepared for that one from HamsterQuest.
Yep, that was a fast-moving core this early to the game. Definitely surprising, but these, you know, the hook actually forces the core to move pretty fast. It has a very high ratio on the power for it. So that's always nice to see being used for the goal.
Absolutely. There's another quick kill. I believe it was HamsterQuest on the Rasmus who picked that one up. So now a 3v2 power play situation here for Quest Esports, trying to lock down that first set quickly, and they're going to get just that. A 3-0 for Quest Esports, looking strong to start out their NASA careers.
Yep. You definitely don't want that to happen as FemmeBison. Hopefully they're going to bounce back in this. But we're going to see some interesting awakenings. Extra Special and Prize Fighter both are highly contested on this map for the two Rasmuses.
It should be mentioned as well that we did see Orb Replicator come out as one of the starting awakenings. So I believe we did see one of that Rasmus take that. So putting up that Orb Ponderer as well. We're going to be definitely watching. I believe that is HamsterQuest taking that one. So keep an eye out for HamsterQuest going to pick up those orbs, because that is going to be affecting the entire team.
Yep, HamsterQuest does have the heavy impact, does not have the replicator.
Oh, my bad.
But it does, it does deny it from FemmeBison, which is also nice to have. There's a
oh, yeah, I know. All of a sudden, FemmeBison. This is such a fast-paced game from Quest Esports so far. I mean, immediate 2 kills on the board. FemmeBison was caught in a 3v1. Dubu is just not fast enough to be able to handle all that. So you really gotta try and these attacks have just been relentless from Quest Esports. You really have to try and catch up.
Yep, and something to note is because Dropleto died in that last round, lost the prize fighter stack, so it's essentially playing down an awakening. So they were looking for a kill on Switch, but were not able to quite pick it up. And another kill comes in on Dropleto. Unfortunate, but they do have a barrier advantage. So.
Yeah, but they just have to get it off of their side of the field is the real problem right now. This attack from HamsterQuest and Switch has been great, but Dropleto and Drakkar doing a really great job going back and forth with this one, putting a little bit of pressure, but HamsterQuest and Switch are there to help clear it out. In fact, Core Flip's going to be used from FemmeBison. It's going to put things over on the other side, but there's no follow-up available from the forwards of the Bozo bunch, still trying to find their first goal of the set.
Oh, another kill comes off right away. I was about to make a witty remark, but they're not even going to let me make that.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, but I think still good defense by Muncher or I all in game. Nice to see him stalling the core out in order for to get the revive on Dropleto.
Yeah, doing a really nice job here, as also some really nice defense from Sloopin here, who has been working with an open net for the last little bit. Just barely saves that one, but it goes right into the waiting arms of Dropleto, and Bozo bunch are going to find their first goal of this series. Could not have come at a better time. It really did feel like they were starting to run away with it with Quest Esports.
Yep, sometimes you need that first goal, that first spark to, start being able to put in the work. But another kill is going to come in through from HamsterQuest on this Rasmus mirror. It's definitely difficult.
Yeah, it has been pretty difficult on Dropleto. HamsterQuest has been making their presence known throughout this series so far. As we say that is another kill coming in. But this time it is on the side of Quest Esports, who find themselves down a player. They find themselves down Switch, their main striker, which means a bunch of pressure is going to start coming in from Muncher and Dropleto. It's going to force the core flip out of HamsterQuest to just slow down the tempo for a moment. Sloopin been forced to use that secondary ability. But the poor flip from Muncher, bouncing it back to yourself and taking it in.
Very nice dribble to bait out the Sloopin roll and then put it into that back side of the net where Dubu couldn't quite reach it. Very nice.
Yeah, very, very well done. And now you can see Muncher starting to build up that confidence, but maybe it was a little bit of hubris there, as you could immediately get knocked over by the forwards of Quest Esports and get taken down once again, and that is an unfortunate. I mean, that was just a miss from FemmeBison, or maybe it was just out of Dubu's reach. Either way, Quest Esports tie up set 2. This one is for all the marbles, it feels like, because Quest Esports going up 2-0 in sets this early would be almost impossible for Bozo Bunch to come back from.
Definitely a very impressive lead, and you know, these awakenings matter a lot on this very similar matchup, because when all the characters in the game want similar awakenings, someone's not going to get their awakenings, you know, and the team that's picking first is definitely favored by that.
Absolutely, and a nice angle from HamsterQuest is going to knock down the goal barrier for Bozo Bunch. Switch looking for the finisher, but swarmed by the members of Bozo Bunch. It doesn't matter! Switch punches it through. It felt like the entirety of the Bozo Bunch team. And that is Quest Esports taking a very close set, 2-0 for them, one away from this. By the way, this is a best of 3. It's going to be a best of 3 throughout the night. So this isn't the entire game, but it is a lot. Orb Dancer is shown and once again taken by HamsterQuest.
Very interesting. A lot of people would, you know, say specialized training on Rasmus on this map is very powerful. In fact, the Dubu even has to deny the specialized trainings from the enemy Rasmus. Another thing that's interesting to see is we see Catalyst dropping down to the 5th spot for this Juliet. Very powerful awakening. But just because of the nature of this map, a lot of characters are favoring other awakenings over it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Death Touch from HamsterQuest once again is going to find the opposing number, and it's going to force out the Tofu Fortress from FemmeBison just to buy some time. But the goal barrier goes down anyways. So Quest Esports doing a great job. You're up a player, and HamsterQuest again. That's 8 KOs for the Rasmus.
But we just saw those moves from Muncher or the dribble around Sloopin to break his ankles and get the bottom barrier there, and also stalled a lot of time as well. Oh, another kill comes in, but it's going to sacrifice his life.
I know, as you may as well just sacrifice one for another, make it a 2v2 game. That's one way to slow down the tempo a little bit, but I'm not sure if that was just a little slow from Sloopin or the gun from Muncher that knocked it in, but either way, Bozo Bunch get themselves the first goal of set number 3, find themselves in the lead in a crucial moment.
Something to mention is HamsterQuest did die and lost all the orb stacks they had been previously building up. They were almost at 10, so it is definitely an unfortunate time to die.
Yeah, incredibly unfortunate. Has to start building it up once again, but no orbs on the field to speak of at the moment. While we were talking, the goal barrier ended up going down for the side of Sloopin and Quest Esports, so that Dubu has a lot of work to do as the forwards work on the other side with a man advantage. But Dropleto and FemmeBison doing a really nice defensive job, and with Switch going down, all of a sudden it's Bozo Bunch that have the man advantage, trying to go on the offense. FemmeBison pushing up, trying to make sure it stays on the Quest Esports side of the field, and just as Switch comes back into the game, they find the finisher.
Yeah, very, very nice offensive push. They took advantage of their man advantage and put it right into that net. Very swift and agile attempt on the Bozo Bunch.
Right now, this is a huge comeback story for Bozo Bunch. They were looking rough in the first 2, but they have found their confidence and are now just 1 goal away from taking their first set of this series. It is an early goal barrier push, and Dropleto going in the middle of everyone, trying to find that finishing blow, but ends up paying for it thanks to the Flame Fury from Switch. And now all of a sudden, Bozo Bunch are on the defense. Muncher and FemmeBison have to defend here. Still have that goal barrier available, and that really nice roll from FemmeBison is going to interrupt the momentum of HamsterQuest. And in fact, HamsterQuest ends up in a bad way, as now you find yourself in a 2v3 situation. You do have the core flip and a very, oh my gosh, a slow roller right there from Bozo Bunch finishes it off. And Bozo Bunch is going to take set 3 on a 3-0 fashion. That is the momentum reset that this team desperately needed.
Yeah, I mean, even if they end up losing the game, you at least want to bring back the sets. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose the game necessarily either, because that was a dominant round. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, if you're behind, you definitely need these small wins, because this is a long series ahead of us, looking like.
Yeah. Notably, we do have Timeless Creator being picked up from, I believe that was FemmeBison that grabbed that one. We also had, I believe, Twin Drive got picked up by Sloopin. So both Dubus doing a really nice job trying to make sure that their abilities are up more often and more effective.
And Deadeye was picked up by the side of Dropleto, which is going to make the hooks hurt just that much more. Very nice pickup on the Rasmus, for sure.
Yeah, incredibly well done. A nice kick from Switch, and HamsterQuest with the pendulum is going to knock in the pass that was just a little bit off the mark at first. A nice reset from HamsterQuest. Quest Esports right back on top.
Yep. After scoring 0 points in that last round, that's definitely. Oh my goodness! Both Rasmuses hooked themselves into the well. I was just about to say they definitely wanted something for momentum going to this next set, but we're now back to the state of the 0 striker advantage.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been a straight-up brawl from both Rasmuses. They've been using these death touches almost exclusively to try and find these kills in the well, and it has been working out very well, especially for HamsterQuest, who had a pretty solid streak a little while ago. Tofu Fortress ends up trapping the core on the Quest Esports side of the field for a minute. Dropleto staggered up, just barely ends up missing the wall and going down, but that Switch finding the finisher. Can Muncher finish it before they go back on the offense? Cannot. So Bozo Bunch now find themselves in a crucial situation. HamsterQuest with the backwards pass, trying to get it up to Switch with the core flip, but cannot find it. A great defensive effort from Bozo Bunch, who now find themselves with, oh my goodness, the core flip from Muncher. They find themselves with the man advantage, and they pounce immediately, Appabug.
Yeah, we're seeing so many like twists and turns. Like one side is getting, you know, a strong push, and all of a sudden it's just on the other side. It's so hard to like almost even cast this type of game because of how fast everything is happening. Definitely interesting to see, though.
Yeah, this has been a fast tempo game. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are, as the Molten Bolt comes out from Muncher, slowing things down for a moment. But Dropleto and Muncher on the attack right now. Sloopin forced to use the roll in order to stop the core in its tracks. Has it again, though, thanks to that, I believe, the twin drive, and is going to get the clear.
And luckily, they did not lose the barrier there. I thought that barrier was going to go down, but good. FemmeBison's also moving at the speed of sound right now.
Yeah. You do not expect Cuba to move that fast.
I believe that was the Egoist proc because of the flip going off. But definitely allowing her to create an offensive presence as Muncher puts it in. Nice shot.
Yeah, really nicely done. From Dropleto to Muncher as well. I mean, you know that Sloopin is not the fastest in the world, so if you find yourself in a 2v1 against that Dubu, There is not a lot that Sloopin can do in that situation. Now, it looks like we do have a very fast switch going on right now, going on the attack. But Dropleto is going to find the hook on the goalie. You're absolutely right. This is a fantastic opportunity for Bozo Bunch to try and get themselves this fourth set, tie it up. It's just HamsterQuest on the field, trying to keep it alive. Sloopin comes in for the save at the last second. They're keeping it alive just barely as we get back to a 3v3.
Yeah, but what a defense, by the way, by HamsterQuest to hold the line. And
oh
now
my goodness.
3 versus 1 on the other side.
Now this is crazy. FemmeBison now finds themselves in a 3v1 situation, but is keeping this goal carrier alive just by the skin of their teeth. And here come the respawns once again. What incredible defensive showing from both sides.
Holy. I mean, finally the barrier is going to go down. Oh! My goodness. The shot to that top, very well, nice place shot. But I got to give credit to FemmeBison. Absolutely phenomenal defense in the 1 versus 3 situation. And is able to hold it out and pick up that MVP going and bring us to this 5th set.
And now all of a sudden you find yourself in set number 5. We had Quest Esports going 2-0 to start it off. The Bozo Bunch have brought it back. Bozo Bunch going for the reverse sweep, which would be massive on the mentals of Quest Esports going into number 2. Game number 2. Appabug, what is sticking out to you with this draft?
Something to notice that the fire up was denied from the Catalyst Julie because she builds up energy very fast. You do not want to also give her fire up to speed up the entire team around her. And she ends up taking the hot shot, which will let her to use her cooldowns at a faster rate. But definitely not the most powerful awakening on Juliet.
Yeah, it is going to be a nice denial, but a really good early aggressive play from Quest Esports pays off. Switch and HamsterQuest is giving too much to handle.
And that fire up, that hot shot definitely ended up pulling out that goal there. If you see how fast the core moves when you hit it with abilities, very nice showing off of that single awakening to put that into the net.
Yeah, really, really nice job. And another very quick goal barrier. Just barely doesn't go down on the other side as well. And Switch with a double KO. Now it's a 2v1 against Vodible. FemmeBison has a lot of work to do. A nice clear, though, is going to get by just enough time for Dropleto now. Finds themselves in a 3v1, and the Rasmus doesn't have very many tools to deal with that situation. That is an unfortunate one. Quest Esports now find themselves 1 goal away from taking the first match. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was definitely another kill. We keep seeing these kills come out at the beginning of the round. Just shows how powerful the Rasmus is on this map. Has full control over the game with these hooks.
Yeah, it just shows how much the Rasmus 1v1 really matters in this in the IMES app in particular. But now Dropleto's going to find one on the opposing number. Here is an opportunity for Bozo Bunch to try and start bringing this back, and a crazy angle is going to do just that. Bozo Bunch aren't out of this one just yet.
Yeah, they're saying, well, we're not going down just yet. We're gonna make you work for that last point. And are able to put it in, and hopefully are able to bring it back themselves.
Yeah, gonna try and do just that with a nice aggressive push from Muncher. Is going to start things off with a goal barrier down. However, oh my goodness, that was just too unpredictable whether Muncher or Dropleto was going to get the final hit. Sloopin was not ready for it, and now, here we go, Appabug. We are in at set 5, goal 5, game 1 of the first matchup of North American Strikers Academy. What an introduction to this series.
What an introduction. And a kill is going to come off right away. Both double kills. Let's see if they're able to make this count. They are able to get this barrier, and they are able to take the kill and the score. Nice finish.
Finish it with an ace from HamsterQuest. What a first game. Quest Esports, they deny the reverse sweep, and off the back of the Rasmus play from HamsterQuest, I don't know if we're going to get a look at the stats. I really do want to see 18 KOs from HamsterQuest, not to discount Dropleto, who had 13 of their own. The Rasmuses were the story of this matchup.
Yeah, 28 total kills for this Quest Esports lineup, but don't count out the 15 KOs, 13 coming off the side of Dropleto, putting in 6 goals of work themselves. Very nice job by both teams, and I hope we get another, at least another great matchup between these in coming into game 2.
I mean, this was just incredibly close. I was getting a little worried after set 2. Quest Esports were looking really strong. They had a really quick set 1 victory and then pulled out a close set 2. It seemed like Bozo Bunch were a little bit out of it, but they crawled their way back in and almost ended up taking it entirely. So what do you think changed between the first and second half that allowed Bozo Bunch to get back into the game?
I think they made some nice adjustments. I saw they were looking more to punish the Rasmus for when looking for those hooks on Muncher. They were actually able to take a few kills because HamsterQuest was essentially not dying for those first 2 sets.
Yeah.
But after coming into the third set, they definitely started punishing those hooks because when you go for those hooks, you are very vulnerable to hooks yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, very much so. So really nicely done from Bozo Bunch. As we head over on to Night Market for our second game, Quest Esports with the opportunity here to take their first NA Strikers Academy game with a win here. As we head into the ban phase, it looks like we're at least going to get no Kai, and then Zentaro is also banned here. Why do you think those heroes were picked?
Yeah, I think they realize that they do not want to play against the Zentaro with heavy impact or extra special on the board.
Mhm.
Both are very nice awakenings on Zentaro, but on top of that, Night Market is prime time for kill comps. Zentaro being the premier brawler for these types of comps, they want him out, and I believe that the Kai ban comes to take off the comfort of Sloopin's Kai, something that they have a little bit more
Mhm.
experience on comparison to some of their other characters.
Now, here's something that I'm noticing. I don't feel like I've seen X get played very much. What do you think? Is this just because, Zentaro got banned and Dropleto still wanted to play a very brawly character?
I think Dropleto is actually one of the players that plays quite a bit of X in both solo queue and in these comp matches, but I also believe that extra special is definitely a nice awakening on X to see, and with the era, it's a pretty common, a little bit of an older school comp, but definitely a comp that we see every now and again, still to this day.
Yeah, get that speed boost going and let X just punch people around, especially on Night Market where there is that speed boost in the middle up for grabs. There's a lot of opportunity for X to get tons and tons of value here. Will it pay off here, though? As we do see both goal barriers go down early for the side of Bozo Bunch. And we do have some defense needed to be played from FemmeBison immediately here. Dropleto, though, playing forward, trying to get some of that pressure going. It hasn't had much effect. We are still early, of course, but compared to the last, I don't think we saw a round go to overtime once in game number 1. So I think this goes to show this one might be a little bit slower.
Yeah, definitely. Night Market is definitely a little bit more of a defensive map for the goalies, which is also why a lot of times you'll see these teams take these kill comps with the IME to try to, cancel that defensive threat from the goalies, just holding it down. And we're going to see once again, another back and forth brawl between these two teams, though. Neither team wants to relent these barriers, though.
Oh, absolutely not. It is only one down so far on the side of Quest Esports, and there is a kill onto Dropleto. So here's an opportunity for Quest Esports now up a player. HamsterQuest is going to find that first goal barrier, but a nice clear with the Tofu Fortress from FemmeBison is going to give Dropleto enough time to get back into the fight.
Yep, and once again, because there is an extra special in the game, we're going to see a lot of these Tofu Fortresses coming out, making it very difficult to actually get this final barrier for both for the side of Quest Esports. But at the same time, nice shot from the Era to pick up that from the bottom side of that barrier.
Yeah, very nicely done as the core picks up speed, bounces right into the waiting arms of Muncher. A really nice round there from the Era player in order to put Bozo Bunch up 2-0.
Yep. And once again, we're getting these very offensive IME ults, and the X is dead. But because of this extra special, we're going to see a lot of these powerful abilities used on very short cooldowns at the start of every round, because they come up over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. These supernovas have been a lot of pressure or trouble. Dropleto punching HamsterQuest around, but isn't able to get the kill. And because of that, HamsterQuest is able to team up with Switch in order to get Quest Esports' first goal of game number 2. Bozo Bunch not able to close this out in a sweep.
Definitely something that you want to see, because you don't want to go down in the first set 0-3. That's always really embarrassing. But nice defense from FemmeBison, despite being in the 2 versus 3 situations, is able to actually defend this barrier. And sometimes it's okay to give up that top barrier if it means defending the bottom. It's a lot easier to defend one barrier than 2.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned with those extra specials, FemmeBison probably feels very confident about their ability to be able to hold on to this goal barrier for as long as possible. Now, HamsterQuest and Switch, though, have a really potent attack, and that is going to force it down. Now, all of a sudden, all the pressure on FemmeBison to keep this alive here for Quest Esports, and the Supernova from HamsterQuest is not only going to get the goal, it's going to get a KO as well.
It definitely also feels good to score off of that, because guess what? It's going to come up right away with that extra special, bringing it back off of cooldown at the start of the round.
Yeah, very nicely done from HamsterQuest. Now looking for more. Gets 1 goal barrier, looking for the second, but a really nice wall formed by Bozo Bunch in order to make sure that top barrier doesn't go down anytime soon. However, there is a KO from HamsterQuest. That's 4 in a row. We're going to be keeping an eye on that Vice as now the offense continues from Quest Esports. Second goal barrier down now. Switch looking for the finisher, but Tofu Fortress is out.
Yep, we were... Oh!
Right back in the FemmeBison's face. That's a tough one.
I was about to say, nice comeback from Quest Esports. They started down 0-2, and they put up 3 consecutive points to take that first set.
Absolutely. So now as we head into the first draft, HamsterQuest is going to get first dibs as pretty much the MVP, and with the extra special, now you get specialized training. These supernovas are going to be crazy.
Yep, and you know, they're already forcing evades off of cooldown, but if you don't have an evade, you can kiss your life goodbye, because that damage coming out from specialized training on those supernovas is gonna hurt.
It's going to be tough. Dropleto and Muncher are going to have a lot to deal with trying to get rid of these massive AoEs from HamsterQuest without losing their lives in the process. But it is going to be Quest Esports who end up losing a member early on in this one. Switch ends up going down, and even though the Tofu Fortress comes out from FemmeBison, they aren't really able to capitalize it until it goes back to 3v3.
Yeah, but very nice Arrow Tornado placed right on the top to secure that top barrier. But once again, the hardest barrier is usually not the first one, but the second one, because it's a lot easier to defend such a closed area. But nice confirm by Dropleto by resetting his strike by using the ultimate.
Yeah, very, very well done. Oh my gosh. FemmeBison almost ends up knocking it back in with their own Tofu Fortress. Instead, it will be HamsterQuest with a nice knock in order to get the first goal of set 2.
Very nice positioning by HamsterQuest. Knows that the only way FemmeBison can clear that is down, and waited in position for that core to inevitably end up in their hands.
Yeah, incredibly well done. Now the turret comes out from Sloopin in order to lock things down into the Quest Esports side of the field. The Supernova comes out from HamsterQuest, also has the core field available, is going to use it. A double KO from Switch. It is now just Dropleto here, the X against the world, and you're not going to be able to do much about that one. Quest Esports, very well done, very aggressive striker strategy. Almost give us shades of that first Amy Zap match.
Level 7 on the Vice, the highest level member of Bozo Bunch is only level 5. And this stagger, these levels actually matter a lot because of the stagger they give, allowing you to stay in the fight for longer. So, once again, like when you see these types of high damage comps, you definitely, one of the things to look at is the level changes. But a nice flip from downtown. Dropleto is able to pick up that goal and bring it back to 2-1.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it seemed like the X pick from Dropleto really wasn't working out very much. We hadn't really seen very many X moments that justified the pick that we don't see very often. But that whole sequence right there, getting both goal barriers and then the goal proper, may have changed my mind on that a little bit. Very, very well done. Now Dropleto trying to continue to build off of that success, but finds himself staggered very quickly, has to fall back.
Something to note about this X is they do scale off of Awakenings. There are some very powerful X Awakenings. So if this game goes to another set 5, we can definitely see that X making a huge impact on the outcome of the game.
Muncher ends up going down, so we do have a 3v2 play for Quest Esports for a moment. They're able to get one goal barrier out of it, but that is all they get for the moment. Maelstrom ends up coming through, trying to block the core back on one side, but doesn't end up doing all too much, as we do hit overtime with an open goal on the side of Quest Esports. And now Bozo Bunch gets it opened up. The Tofu Fortress is going to leave things alone for the moment. Core flip for HamsterQuest, followed by the Supernova, but nice defense from Bozo Bunch in order to keep this alive right now. Quest Esports trying to hit that one goal to get themselves up 2-0.
And if I'm FemmeBison, I'm sweating because they almost died there. But nice primary from Muncher to put it in and bring us to 2-2. Another set going to 2-2. This is gonna be a long series.
These two teams are clearly extremely competitive, and they are clearly fighting hard in order to start off their NA Strikers Academy season on the right foot. A quick core to start off is going to get one goal barrier from either side. Now both goal barriers from Bozo Bunch is a prime opportunity for Quest Esports in order to close out set 2 right here, right now, trying to set up the attack, but unfortunately the defense is there on the bottom side of the screen, and that gets past Sloopin. The core flip from Dropleto saves it for Bozo Bunch. They're gonna tie things up 1-1.
It's so funny because the first set, Bozo Bunch was up 2-0 and got reverse swept. This time, Quest Esports is up 2-0 and got reverse swept. It's like we're basically seeing a mirror of what happened in each set. I wonder if the next team that goes up 2-0 is going to fear of being reverse swept again.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough one. We do see, you mentioned some of these awakenings being really good for X. Big Fish, you think that's one of them? It has to be, right?
It definitely is, especially if you get it paired with Tempo Swing. This X can become a monster very fast.
The Chad X in the emote in the chat right now. Dropleto knows that they just became a lot more lethal.
Yeah. Definitely, size is always definitely nice on all these melee characters, especially X, because the extra stagger allows him to stay in the fight and essentially deal even more damage.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge boon for Dropleto, who's immediately going very aggressive with it, trying to basically just make sure Sloopin can never feel safe at the moment. As the offense has been very potent for Bozo Bunch so far. It's mostly been on the Quest Esports side of the screen, as the defense from FemmeBison, Dropleto, and Muncher has been really good. It is an open goal to start off, and the finisher from Dropleto. This is looking scary now for Quest Esports. This X might be getting online.
Yeah, right off the bat, we're seeing that size come into play. On top of the size given by the Era and the X ult, that X can get really massive. It's really hard to strike war the X when they're 3 times your size. But a kill comes in on FemmeBison. Let's see if they can make a power play off of the dead goalie.
Yeah, Dropleto trying to do their best on the sort of secondary goalie position. You do get 1 goal barrier down before FemmeBison comes back into the fight. And now it's Switch, who's in a lot of danger, has 0 stagger at the moment. And you do have Dropleto going after that. Juliet is up against the wall at the moment, but is going to get out with the help of HamsterQuest. All of a sudden, it's Quest Esports who find themselves with the player advantage. They get both goal barriers down, but here comes Muncher trying to even things up thanks to that Flutterfly. That extra speed is going to open things up for both sides now. Open goals here, and it is going to be a tough one.
We keep on seeing the tables keep turning on these players. We think something is like gonna happen with an advantage, but all of a sudden the other side gets the opposite side of the advantage. And what the heck just happened there? I believe that Dropleto was able to connect with that really fast-moving core, keeping the momentum and placing it really neatly in the bottom corner of the net. Very nice by Dropleto. Very nice reaction on that score.
Incredibly well done, and now Bozo Bunch find themselves up 2-0 in set number 3. This X and Era, honestly, has been very tough to deal with this combination coming online now in set number 3. So there's a lot for Quest Esports to deal with. They got to try and come back from this one. Can they dig themselves out of this hole?
Yep. A flip is almost up here for Dropleto. Gonna probably look for that bottom barrier using it, but isn't quite able to have it. I think one more hit, yes, and oh, they're able to get the flip regardless, but aren't able to quite put it in the net.
Yeah, that special from Dropleto ends up fading just in time for Sloopin to be able to get the save, but ends up getting caught at the bottom of the net. And Dropleto, with a huge comeback in set number 3, gets the MVP for the set, and Bozo Bunch now up 2-1.
And we see this Catalyst here, one of the best awakenings in the game, most likely to come in through X, but maybe the Chrono Boost as well. Yes, the Catalyst is going to come in through. Very powerful currently in the current state of the meta, and it's going to be able to flip just way more often, and it's really hard to deal with this X when they have these flips off of cooldown over and over and over again.
Now we do also see Rapid Fire get picked up by the Juliet, so you're going to be able to throw out those punches much more often. It's going to be a pretty good boon for Switch, who really does need to step up here on the start of set number 4 to try and slow down this Bozo Bunch momentum.
And something to notice, though, is rather than taking the Chrono Boost, which is a little bit more common, we see the doubling down on the ult training because of the extra special as well. Oh, nice shot by Dropleto as I was talking, but as I was saying, Muncher has the Monumentalist with the extra special, is going to look to put these cores into very dangerous spots for Sloopin to save with that ultimate. And we can see how large this tornado gets right here because of it.
Yeah, I mean, this X is just absolutely massive, but it doesn't matter how big you are. If you get knocked into the back of those goal barriers, there's not much that can save you. So Dropleto gets taken down early, an opportunity for HamsterQuest and Switch to be able to even things up here. They have 1 goal barrier. Now there goes the second. The core flip's going to try and finish it out, and Switch comes through with the kick, knocks back the goalie, and then gets the finishing blow, 1-1.
Very, very clean goal. Picking up the kill on FemmeBison. You can't save it if you're dead, after all.
Yeah.
Very nice. But once again, these tornadoes are massive. for this team and are able to get both berries but die in the process. But Dropleto once again has flipped due to this Catalyst Awakening. They have to keep it away from Dropleto here though. That's definitely the name of the game, keep away, because Dropleto will put this in the net if given the opportunity. And just like I said, right into the top corner.
mean, that's some psychic work right there from Appabug. My goodness. I mean, yeah, the massive X with the core flip, it was going to take some huge save for Sloopin to be able to get that one back. Early Tofu Fortress comes out from FemmeBison as well in order to force Bozo Bunch on the attack early.
Ooh. The nice kill on the X because he did not have the evade because after using the flip in the previous round. So nice pickup on HamsterQuest to notice that and pick up the power play.
Yeah, very nicely done. You do get one goal barrier out of that, but of course you did lose one yourself early on. Dropleto moving up, but unfortunately a nice save from Sloopin is going to keep things away from that X for the moment. Switch going for a little bit of power play here. Gets things towards the bottom where no one is at the moment. Waits for that speed boost to come through, but is not able to capitalize on it just yet. Here comes the Maelstrom knocking all of Quest Esports back. It's going to get the goal barrier down. Dropleto looking for the finisher. HamsterQuest and Sloopin combining for a really nice defense, but it can only last so long. And that is Bozo Bunch taking game number 2. We're gonna go to game 3 for, again, the first game of the season. I mean, this is an incredible series to start off on.
Yeah, and that was another series that just went back and forth. Quest Esports taking the first set, but Bozo Bunch punching back with 3 consecutive sets. And as we go into game 3, I think some thoughts that Quest Esports has to be thinking of is, what are we going to change to stop this? Because I think that the ban of the Kai, I believe, wasn't exactly something that ended up proving very useful.
Yeah, I mean, I really did criticize the X pick when I first saw it come out. I haven't seen it in high-level play very much, but man, did Dropleto prove me wrong there. Once you were able to draft the Awakenings you wanted, get that X as juiced up as possible, you saw the impact that character was able to have. It took a little bit of time. It was a little weak at the start, but once it ended up powering up, there was really nothing that they could do to stop it. Notably, Bozo Bunch only had 1 KO throughout the entire game, most of which probably came in... Actually, no, they were getting a decent amount of KOs in the second half as well, but there were pretty consistent good defense from the FemmeBison in order to keep the goal barriers alive when they were down with players.
Yep, and when you have a KO comp with this Vice, Imi, Julie, but you aren't able to get these KOs, it's the point of your comp is kind of taken down the drain, as you were saying, and I think Bozo Bunch did a great job at not allowing them to finish these KOs, even when they did finish, mitigating the damage taken from the power plays, and this X. Once he got that big fish and then the catalyst, it's too difficult to handle for this side of Quest Esports.
Shout out to Vodible on the production, letting me know it was 17 knockouts from Quest Esports in total, compared to just the 1 from Bozo Bunch, but it doesn't end up mattering in the end. Do you just ban the X for game number 3? It feels like you can't let that happen again.
I think it definitely depends on Awakenings and map. If we see the Imi's app, I don't think an X ban will come through. I think Night Market is definitely one of the more favorable maps for it. But
Sure.
These extra special, these cast to last starts definitely warrant the thought of the X ban after seeing that performance.
So now with game number 3, we do go back to Night Market. So, I mean, you can't let this X happen again. Prime Time is available as well as the First Awakening along with Built Different. So,
yep,
there's a lot of...
These are both very good X Awakenings as well. I wonder, but the Kai ban is going to come in once again, likely do that Prime Time. Don't want to deal with that Prime Time Kai. Just, I think the
Yeah.
same bans just happened right there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was the exact same bans. Quest Esports think that maybe they're maybe they have different idea with their composition. I mean, Sloopin running for that Dubu this time around is going to obviously be a lot different. You were running Amy in game number 1, so it's not going to be with the bans. That's going to be the adjustment from Quest Esports. It's going to be the composition that they run. They are going to do Dubu, they're going to go Era, and they are still going to run Switch on the Juliet. So a little bit less KO focus this time around.
Yep, almost a mirror right here. I actually am curious which Awakening Dropleto takes, because both are very nice on, very powerful on X. And it's going to be the build different that does go through a little bit more of a common choice. But it's nice to see they also switch sides of the X and the Era to try to match the X up against the Juliet, rather than having to deal with perma-shrinking from this primetime Era.
Yeah, I mean, HamsterQuest immediately gets hit with that shrink to start off. Dropleto very low, very aggressive, but ends up paying the price for it to start off. So while a really nice early attack from Quest Esports gets both goal barriers down, they find themselves down a player. One goal barrier goes down. Switch is going to take that speed boost, try and capitalize on it, but it is not happening at the moment. Once again, really nice defense from FemmeBison keeps the goal barrier up until that moment.
Yeah, but definitely unfortunate. It happens to the best of us, but nice shot into the bottom corner by Dropleto, despite being shrunk, is able to reach that core and place it in the perfect spot.
Yeah, incredibly well done from Bozo, picking up right where they left off. And I mean, we mentioned last time, the last set number 2, the X didn't seem to get much value until you were able to get some really good awakenings. Maybe it's just because the built different is already a very good awakening for X.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dropleto is coming out swinging to start off set number 3.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure. And the kill is going to come through on the Juliet, making a power play. Will HamsterQuest be able to hold this out? And looks like HamsterQuest is able to just stall out this entire power play single-handedly. But finally, they do get the offensive here. But a nice flip for that bottom barrier right there.
Yeah, really nicely done. And switch to HamsterQuest. The classic cross shot pass to the other side of the net. Dubu cannot cross the net fast enough. So Quest Esports tie it up, show that they are still alive, still kicking.
And that's for sure. I honestly, like that power play, I was a little bit worried, but all of a sudden they reverse swept the barriers and won the set. I mean, it's crazy. This entire series, it's just like, it's pretty unpredictable based on the events that are happening on your screen, because we keep on seeing the tables being turned over and over again. And nice pickup on Dropleto. He's also going to get the barrier. Nice dribble back to Muncher, and they aren't quite able to put it in here.
Not quite yet, but Sloopin sends the core down, but isn't able to get it into the corner to clear it away. And Dropleto who is going to be able to find the finisher. 2-1 for Bozo, trying to get off to a good start here in this decisive first set, is doing a really nice job so far. Again, 4 aggressive play from Dropleto, first player in the lobby to hit level 4, gets that goal barrier down.
Yep, despite being the power play for the other side, no barriers go down in this power play, and Muncher is able to respawn, and they're going to get that barrier at the cost of Muncher's life again. Well, but I think this time they have a little bit of a better shot on this power play.
Yeah, they're doing a really nice job. A core flip from Dropleto ends up just bouncing into the corner. Switch, though, has to be very conservative here, but gets taken down by Dropleto. So here's another power play opportunity, and Dropleto gets it in. Yes, very nicely done from the X player. Just Bozo picking up right where they left off at the end of match number 2.
And you were saying this X ban might need to come through, and he's showing why that's the case. Catalyst and Quick Strikes both notably very strong on X. I'm very curious to see which one is going to be picked up. It looks like the Quick Strikes is going to be picked up. Maybe a little bit of a controversial choice, but definitely a nice choice regardless.
Yeah, Timeless Creator also gets picked up from Sloopin, so those two Tofu Fortresses are going to be really, really nice. Stagger Swagger gets picked up as well from the Switch. So that is going to be really nice, especially when you get taken down very quickly from Dropleto a lot, as Switch has been finding themselves. And in fact, I think kind of stood still there to proc that Stagger Swagger's... sorry, no, they proc the speed boost from the middle. But still, the Stagger Swagger doesn't hurt.
Yep. The flip is going to be coming out from Dropleto, not quite able to clear it, but they are going to get this kill on Switch. But once again, great defense from the side of HamsterQuest and Sloopin, and taking out that X. He's, one of the problems about being so large is you get hit by these tornadoes very easily.
Yeah, the Maelstrom with a really nice path to just carry Dropleto into the wall, but they aren't able to capitalize on it. Again, this defense from Bozo has been very impressive. Even when down players, Quest Esports has been having trouble finding good capitalizations on it. Again, I mean, look at how FemmeBison just defended from the Flame Fury from Switch. It's like an unpenetrable wall that this Dubu is providing right now. We had an overtime with neither team even having an open net yet. I mean, I've been singing FemmeBison's praises, but Sloopin has been doing very well in addition.
Yeah, it's definitely the Night Market Dubu mirror matchup if I've ever seen one. A nice shot by Switch, flipping and then punching for the hit stun, not allowing FemmeBison to flip themselves. But once again, we see these Dubus come out on Night Market. They're very good at defending on this map, and it's a very defensive-oriented map a lot of the times because of it. But I do want to mention that Bozo does have more kills in one set than they had all of last game. It's looking like they are actually able to capitalize on these kills a little bit better this game.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're doing a pretty decent job. Switch, of course, gets down very low, which is going to activate that Swagger Staggers. So with a lot of speed to start off this round, is going to be able to help get one goal barrier down. But you see the open goal on Quest Esports and know that Sloopin has a lot of work to do at the moment. Dropleto on the attack, but a nice clear from Sloopin is going to avoid the tornado, and Switch punches it through FemmeBison's defense, and that is going to open up the goals on both sides.
Yep, very nice patience, waiting out that roll. This Julie versus Dubu matchup is a lot of mind games. You have to bait out abilities from this Dubu, because it becomes very hard to score if you shoot directly at them when they have abilities up. And we're seeing it here, and nice shot by Switch is able to pick up that core and put it in when FemmeBison's just a little bit out of position there.
Yeah, nicely done, capitalizing on FemmeBison being a little too close to the bottom of the goal. And Quest Esports now finding themselves up 2-0 in set number 2, trying to get themselves back into this one, try and halt this momentum that Bozo have been building up for the last game and one set. Can they get that final goal in order to get themselves a tie overall, get themselves right back into this one? Dropleto saying, I don't think so. Both goal barriers down very quickly for Quest Esports, but HamsterQuest doing a pretty nice job. And the Maelstrom again. This is a really nice play that HamsterQuest has been doing to try and counter this X.
Yep. If you're gonna take these Size Awakenings, you have to be extra careful about these Maelstroms because they'll pick you up. And nice shot by Switch to place in that top corner where FemmeBison is just once again not quite able to pick it up.
Incredibly well done. Like you mentioned, the mind games. I think that FemmeBison was expecting the shot to happen at first, but instead Switch just goes ahead and dribbles it to themselves. So incredibly well done. Castellast. Sorry, go ahead.
Castellast, Tempo Swing, and Chrono Boost are all up. All very powerful on X. I believe the Chrono Boost will come in through here. Yes.
Yep.
Chrono Boost with Quick Strikes is going to allow him to get even more value out of these Quick Strikes ults and is able to sit on Sloopin. But you just can't allow X to get that Tempo Swing or else it's almost just GG. So luckily, Switch is able to pick that up before Dropleto is able to pick it. And we're going to still have a game on our hands.
Yeah. 1-1 here in set number 3. If you are just joining us, both these teams fighting for their first match victory in the North American Strikers Academy. A lot on the line here. This is, of course, just the first week of the round robin, but a lot of momentum on the line here as we are starting off this season. And there is a KO on to Switch. Power play opportunity for the Bozo bunch, but the defense of Sloopin has been very effective so far. You're going to be able to stall out pretty much this entire KO period. And yeah, you are able to avoid losing even one goal barrier. That's very impressive from Sloopin.
And that was kind of a crazy clear. I think even FemmeBison was a little bit lost where the corp was going to go. Luckily, it doesn't end up in her net, but very nice clear by Sloopin to get it out, and still has not dropped a single barrier this set.
Yeah, not quite. There it is. Sloopin loses one right as you say that. Maybe a little bit of a caster curse right there. Ends up losing both of them, and oh, that is just a filthy angle from Bozo bunch to get themselves the first goal of set number 3.
I feel like caster cursed them quite a bit there, but still, nice defense on both sides to hold out these rounds. These rounds keep going to overtime, and this core ends up becoming quite fast because of it.
Yeah, it is incredibly quick. Tough for Dubu to keep up with on these cross shots, and Dropleto's going to find a KO there. Power play opportunity for Bozo bunch is going to convert into one goal barrier. Sloopin trying to defend that top one, doing a nice job of it so far, but a nice angle from Dropleto gets it past the defenses. With the Flutterfly, you see Quest Esports going a little bit on the attack right now, but again, I mean, this defense from FemmeBison has been extremely difficult for Switch to be able to get past. Has had some moments, including that one where you're able to punch it past, but it seems like more often than not, Quest Esports end up having their goal opened up first.
Oh, right on top, but he's able to pick it up with the flip, and he's able to save the core there, and now the offense is coming out. Sadly, that flip just misses that mark. Maybe a little bit more patience there would have done it, but still absolutely phenomenal defense by FemmeBison. But will she be able to defend this goal as well?
Yeah, I mean, that was an insane save, but still more work to do with a man advantage for Quest Esports. HamsterQuest sends it in towards the bottom, but it just is off the mark as Switch gets it literally as close to the top barrier as possible. FemmeBison just ends up missing the clap, and that is going to end with a 1-1 tying things up in set number 3. It's bonkers how competitive this match is, Appabug.
Yep, I mean, going into the match, I looked at both teams very highly, but I don't think that I expected it to be this close between these two teams. And nice shot right from the perfect spot. It's so dangerous to save those core flips when you hit them from that angle right in the middle. Centralized core flip right to the bottom corner.
Absolutely. Very, very well done. It is worth mentioning we are getting some Orb Ponderer stacks as the recorder pointed out there, so something to keep an eye on as more orbs end up getting picked up here. Maelstroms end up coming out from both sides to try and clear the core out of the Bozo bunch side of the field, but it is one goal barrier down early, and with the Flutterfly, though, that's an opportunity for Bozo bunch to get one of their own. That's what they do. Core flip comes out. 2 core flips, in fact, is able to get the other goal barrier down, and it looks like the goalie is gone for Quest Esports. You need to have that Dubu. Dropleto going for it. HamsterQuest gets there just in time as the cooldown on the KO comes back. Sloopin back in the game. Nice defensive play from HamsterQuest to keep this round alive.
That's so unfortunate. As a goalie, if you're a goalie and you see that go in, it feels so bad. But nice kill, almost a literal dash punch from Dropleto, and is able to sneak it past Sloopin. What a shot.
That was incredible. Just baits out the roll from Sloopin, and Bozo bunch now finding themselves one set away from taking this one. So we are going to be seeing we're going to be seeing Muncher with first pick here.
These are some nasty awakenings, though.
Yeah.
egoist, and I think you have to deny specialized, yes, but he's still going to get the big fish. Absolutely. Once again, we saw this last time. Very nasty on X. We're also going to see Missile Prop come out from the Dubu. Definitely one of Dubu favorite awakening as well, allowing the walls to be used in a lot more offensive of a manner.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Of course, Dropleto is going to be even bigger, even stronger. And if you remember back to set number 2, when you picked up the big fish, I believe it was after the second round draft, that was when things really turned around for Bozo Bunch. So now finding themselves one set away from victory, this could be the boost that they need to really take things home. That Tornado is going to be able to find the first goal barrier. Muncher with the assist, trying to find the second one, but now Switch is on the attack with an open goal on the other side. Dropleto, even with a man down, trying to punch it in, can't quite get there.
That is unfortunate. Almost a very nice sequence of events from Dropleto, but now they are on the defense. FemmeBison is able to clear it out for long enough for Muncher to come back to life.
Yeah, very nicely done. We're back to a 3v3 now as things slow down for the moment. Sloopin goes all the way up. Could this bite them? It sure does. Sloopin can't get back to the goal in time and gives up what could be a crucial first goal to Bozo Bunch.
Oh, that is definitely unfortunate, but I can see the antsiness from Sloopin really wants this offense to happen because FemmeBison is just defending with their life right now. It's really sucks for the goalies of the other team to watch this happen. Just unable to make an offensive push when you virtually need it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Sloopin is doing a bad job at goalie. Has been doing a very, very good job. That is incredible.
And that's actually a crucial kill because that was a flip on the Dubu as well that just disappeared in thin air. But are they going to be able to get anything out of it? And it's looking like no, FemmeBison is back up.
Yeah, really nicely done from Dropleto and Muncher to be able to keep things going and give FemmeBison still a goal barrier to protect here. Has been doing such a good job of it so far. Now here comes Dropleto coming in for potentially the finisher. Almost has that core flip available. Doesn't have it quite yet, though. The Tofu Fortress out from Sloopin is going to delay things for a minute. But with a man advantage and an X in your face, how long are you going to be able to keep this going? It's going to be Muncher who finds the finisher, but all 3 members of Bozo Bunch had a hand in that one. This is match point, series point for Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, that ego is coming in clutch, and Dropleto still has flip, notably. Could easily use this for just to secure the last point of the series and win it all. Is going to use it to get the top barrier, and they're going to put it in and win the set and win the match. What a set!
That was absolutely nuts from Bozo Bunch, and Dropleto showing that X pick coming out huge. I mean, Quest Esports in that first IME's app, they really seem to come out on top with the Rasmus pick, but letting Dropleto pick X for the second game in a row there, not going for that ban, really seemed to be the nail in the coffin for Quest Esports. Even with the composition adjustments, they just didn't have an answer for the aggression from Dropleto.
Yeah, I think you mentioned at the beginning of the set, might not be the plan to allow the X to go through again, but it seems that it works out once again for Bozo Bunch, is able to get that X, and it just shows the power that this character has. Don't count this character out, just because we don't see it as often in competitive play does not mean the character is weak by any means.
I'll tell you what, I will never count an X player out again. I've learned my lesson. I hope all you guys watching out in Twitch chat have learned that lesson as well. Incredibly well done from Bozo Bunch, who are going to start their season off 1-0 in the North American Strikers Academy. Meanwhile, Quest Esports end up falling. They lose their first matchup, but it was a very, very close one. What would you be saying if you were in the Quest Esports room right now and you had just taken that loss? How would you try and pick the team up?
Well, if there's ever a game to lose, you want to be losing these early matches before, so you can understand how to build your team, because these early games really decide whether your team is able to push through and, despite the losses, and get this synergy down, because once again, new goalie in the building here. But it definitely looked like, especially game 1 and even in moments in game 2 and 3, that Quest Esports is definitely a strong roster. Definitely do
Mhm.
not count them out. And it sucks to lose to this Bozo bunch team, but it's a lot better to get the hard games out of the way first. And once you get to those easier games, you'll pick up the wins just fine.
All right. Well, that was an incredible series to start this broadcast and this season off on. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, though, it's going to be PP Legends versus Destroyer Mega Noob coming up for the second match of the day. Let's see if we can keep this momentum going. We'll see you soon.